In 2018, on my abundance journey, I would continue to learn more lessons, not just about money in terms of abundance, but support, time, all of the things. We know that you were born magical. We know that you are intuitive, and we know that you are brimming with everyday enchantment. Here at the Sisters Enchanted, we believe in intention, we believe in intuition, and we believe in everyday magic. Welcome in to the Expedition to Soul podcast. Welcome today to today's episode of Expedition to Soul. I'm Sara, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and this is part 3, I think, of my sort of journey back through abundance series here at the Sisters Enchanted. So if you missed parts 1 and 2, you'll want to check those out. Basically, what I'm doing is telling the story of the last 7 years of the Sisters Enchanted and what I have learned about abundance along the way and what my abundance journey looked like. So, when I think of abundance, it's not just money, it's support, it's time, it's energy, it's fulfillment. Um, and for me, time is a big part of abundance because I think that without time, we can't do the things that make us feel more abundant, right? So we really want to look at that. My first lessons, if you remember back or if you missed those episodes from 2016, that was the year the Sisters Enchanted was founded, was really around asking questions about, what's the thing that I desire so much that fear and uncertainty won't stand in my way from being successful, right? What is that thing I desire so much that I will press forward? And I think it's that abundance of desire there. And I told some of my money story in that episode also. And what that was like for me. So go check that out if you missed it. Episode 2 was 2017, the first full year of the Sisters Enchanted. And there, my top tips around abundance and just feeling more abundant in life were around looking for proof of your success to remind yourself that you can do different things, and then understanding return on investment in terms of time, money, and energy. So all the things that you're doing, what is the return on those things for you? Um, and yeah, and making choices based on that, making decisions based on, if I do this, what can I be more abundant in? And when I say abundance, money is always what we think about, but how can you be more abundant in fulfilling relationships or in a calm, peaceful house? And what are you doing that will help gain you return on those things you desire? So we can look at abundance in all different areas. All right, 2018, this was the second full year of the Sisters Enchanted. It was our third birthday happened in 2018, but the first full complete year. It was the first year that I only worked the Sisters Enchanted, not my other business. It was also my first year of being the sole income earner in my family, which was interesting for sure. When I think about, abundance things I did this year, 2018 actually felt pretty abundantly spacious. I started to hire help for the first time. So I hired an assistant in 2018, brought on people to help teach different things, and really started to realize that, I to impact, like, what did I want? Did I want to impact more people, change more lives? That I can't do that if I'm a one man band. There has to be other people helping play all the instruments here. I was breastfeeding still that year, so my son will have turned 1 in 2018. I was working about 20 to 24 hours a week, I would say. My daughter was in therapies for different things starting that year, so there was just a lot of transition sort of stuff happening in my personal life. This year, 2018, was also the year that I made the very first big investment in myself. And again, it was my first year of being the sole breadwinner in the family. And so it was terrifying. If you listen back to the first episodes, you know that we didn't have money in the bank. There was no 401ks, no, no money sitting anywhere. But understanding that investing in myself in different ways was going to help support me and help create what I wanted to create and live the life I wanted to live, making those big leaps. So I joined my first small group mastermind program that year, which is people come together to support each other and sort of receive mentorship. And it was $11,000. And I did a payment plan and it was a lot. So I made that decision that year. All right, 2018, in terms of what was going on, again, I was trying to grow into support. So I would say that in 2018 was really the abundance factor for me. Wasn't so much about money because I was able to pay my bills pretty confidently, but understanding how could I get more support. So support from my husband, support from for the kids, support that the kids needed, but also household support, team support, and support for myself, which is why I joined the group that I joined to understand how, be with other women who were self-employed and they were all also moms and sort of have that support for me because I needed that. So for me, the abundance in 2018 was less about finding abundance financially, but more about finding an abundance of support so that I could later find more abundance financially. We did in 2018 in terms of a business double our income over the year before. Uh and so that actually felt fairly easy. I in looking back, 2018 was a very hard year personally for me in parenting and my marriage, but I think that it was really not being afraid to get support. So I didn't look at the money and think I can't spend this money. I looked at the money and thought, how can I use this to get me support and then I can still pay myself. So short-term money out and then in, the near future I'd be able to recoup that cost because I will have gained back freedom to support myself. So joining the program I joined, getting house help here and there, getting an assistant at the Sisters Enchanted. All of this was like, all right, if this thing is $100, I'm going to lose $100 today, but in 3 weeks, I should be able to make back that $100 plus another $100 because I will be more supported and have more flexibility to do the things that matter. So really understanding that I had to support myself first and looking at that as sort of my abundance play, if we want to call it that, in 2018. I think the mindset thing that really came up for me in abundance in 2018 on this journey, and I had been self-employed now. I started self-employment in 2014 and Sisters Enchanted 2016. So a few years of working for myself. But really there's this saying, I don't know who said it first, but it's a saying, what got me here won't get me there. And that was very rung true for me in 2018. What got me to where I was not going to get me to where I wanted to go and to grow. So how do I do that, right? That was the question. How do I do that? How do I bring on teammates who would require pay? I'd have to pay them. And how do I change more lives? How do I do all of this while having a baby and breastfeeding and a 3-year-old who needed lots of supports? And how do I do that? And it really came down to getting support for myself, which I was not very good at first. And I actually didn't join that group program till the very end of 2018. It was like in November, I think. So most of that year, I just sort of was like, hey, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? And made some off the cuff decisions, which I would later learn is never a good thing to do. It is never a good thing to just try to find people to solve your problems without solving the problem first. So you solve the problem first and then find the person who can manage that going forward, no matter what area of life it is. But just trying to throwing money at a problem is never a good thing, which is a lesson I would learn in a big way time and time again. But I think that the abundance thing for me in 2018, the part of the story that I really want to highlight, whether it's confidence, your body, like you want an abundance of intimacy or an abundance of friendships or an abundance of cash or whatever it is that you want for yourself. 2018 really brought up the question for me is, what do you need? Like, what did I need? What do you actually need? And again, looking at what is the problem, the underlying problem, not like I need help today. Well, what is the problem that got you to where you feel that way? What's the core root of the problem? If you feel like you need help cleaning your house and no one's helping you, well, what's the core root of the problem? Is it that there's too much stuff in the house? Is it that there's no one, you never like clearly told somebody or asked them, or like all the stuff's disjointed and none of the cleaning stuff's in one place, so it's hard to find? Like, what is the core root of the thing that you can solve before you ask for that help? and really who's in your community. So that was the other thing that I think is a lesson in this time, is really looking at just who are the people that are in your community, which is a great tie-in because we actually just did an activity in our membership where we looked at the different people that we'd be surrounding ourselves with. So if you're in that membership, think back to that conversation. If you partook in it, to partake, if you were a part of it, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but who are the people who are in your community? Who are you surrounding yourself with? And so for me in 2018, I realized again that sort of I definitely was not rolling in the dough, but the bills were paid and that was like pretty level. So what was next in terms of abundance? What felt hard? And it was support. I felt like I had no support. So I had to find it. And that was my lesson for that year, is just filling that community, the people who could be supportive. Uh, and that was the big thing. So when you think of abundance, who is in your community? Does it feel abundant, or do you feel like there are empty seats that could be filling or could be filled for you? So that's my 2018 abundance lesson. I will say that filling those seats, though, is the hardest thing I have ever done. It is getting support, supporting myself, feeling supported, and filling my seats with people. That has been 10 million times harder than being more abundant cash wise has been. So that is my little spin on abundance there. But again, I think that that really goes to show that money is not the be all end all, right? And we can be abundant in all areas of our life, which will help us to be abundant financially. All right. That is part 3. And we'll see you in the next one for part 4. If you have any interest in learning more about abundance of confidence, space, time, and money, be sure to check out our Holistic Witchery program because it is open for enrollment. And we are starting a Conjuring Abundance 4-week live round in addition to our Holistic Witchery program that starts the beginning of June. And you can find out more about that at holisticwitchery.com. But now is the time to join us in there. All right, I'll see you in the next episode. Until next time, I hope that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead. If you liked this episode of the Expedition to Soul podcast, please rate, review, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, it will really help us spread everyday magic, intention, and intuition to the masses, and helps us so much as a small business. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. There are new episodes every Tuesday and astro forecasts for the week ahead every Friday. If there's any topics you'd want to hear, anything you want us to dive deeper into, shoot us an email at magic@thesistersenchanted.com. And as always, thank you so much for listening and being part of the community here at the Sisters Enchanted. And we'll see you in the next episode.